Well, you was going to expand on
Well,
it.
yeah, I was just gonna say what you were saying about women's, and them using women's or whatever. Well, when you look biblically, when you go back to the beginning in the Garden of Eden, I mean, who used, Eve to bring Adam, to get Adam to fall. Satan used the woman, and then when you look at the history of the gangsters like John Dillon, what did
Yes.
they use? They used the woman in red. And when you look at the story of Samson and Delilah, who brought him down. So people, as far as like you were saying, infiltrating women, they look at women as being desirable or whatever. And women can be more, manipulative or whatever. When it comes to men, they can be more, persuasive as opposed to using a man.
Trying to get what you're saying, though. You said they even know what type of socks you mean. Can you explain? I don't expand on it. They know what type of socks you. What do you tell me?
They know what kind of socks, what kind of shoes you like, what kind of T-shirts you like. You like silk shirts? You like silk socks? They know all of that. They've got that all in a file on you. Brother Bradley, as you sit here, your file is in the office.
They can't get
My
much,
file is in the office.
They can't get much out of me anyway.
Well, it doesn't have to. They can fabricate stuff.
Okay.
All right? Because as Goebbels, who was Hitler's propagandist, Goebbels said, if you want to tell a lie on someone, make it the biggest lie that you can think of. Because I could say that I saw Brother Bradley, he was downtown. He went into the old Carson Pier Sky.
Yes.
He walked through the turning doors, he came back out, he'd have on a stitch of clothes. Then he turned around, went back through the same doors and came back out and started walking down the street like he had never did that. You know what everybody would say?
What's that?
It's got to be the truth, because nobody tell a lie like that on nobody.
I understand what you're saying. Mike, and Alderman, I want to go to war. What they will pit the CIA, FBI, they would pit one tribe, one group of people against another people. Supply arms over here, supply arms over there, and then make them come to a truce, and they still in charge. Why is this going on? Why were two groups allowed?
Well, the only thing that I can come up with as far as that is, I think about, I go back to the account of Jesus.
Yes, sir.
The account in the Bible when he was betrayed. Everybody had their Judases, and it's just like Jesus in 2,000 years when he had, his, like I said, the Judases among him when the Pharisees and the Sadducees saw him as a threat.
Yes.
And they had their little positions. You see what I'm saying? Because at that particular time, the Romans were in charge.
Yes, sir.
But when the Pharisees and the Sadducees saw that all, the people was listening to, this man Jesus, they said, oh, man, he might start a revolt or an insurrection or uprise, So they said, if this get out to the Romans, you see what I'm saying? They might come and take our little position away. So now we got to take him out. And it's no different today. It's no different today. It's no different. See, what we don't understand is that, like Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 8 in the Bible, he said it's nothing new. It's nothing new. Everything that's happening now, it happened back then. It's just what we call now in so-called modern terms. But it's nothing new, though. They're infiltrating, the spying, the Judases. All this was going on back then during ancient time. It's nothing new.
Sad. May I ask you, how could a set of group of people allow somebody to come into their territorial land and manipulate them like that?
Well, there's a book I mentioned on a show I was on. Now, I'm not a Marxist-Leninist, because I read the last book that Lenin wrote, and that it was Capitalism, the Highest State of Imperialism. And in that book, Lenin said, for a revolution to take place in America is impossible. See, because the lumpen proletariat is daily being bought out. That the lumpen proletariat is the poorest of the poor. So that's how it happens.
That's how it happens, huh?
So they say, Brother Bradley, you had that show for a long time.
Yes, sir.
It seemed like people are listening to you. How'd you like to have a job making $85,000 a year? Then you sound like Mark Sims. Mark Sims would say,
Yeah, Mark Sims,
if I
yeah.
knew that Matt Daly was going to give me a job making that kind of money,
Yeah, just mention
I
money.
would leave the show tomorrow. All right? And you probably would do the same thing.
Mark Sims' viewpoint. Go ahead.
So when you understand that, they find out, I told you they do a profile on you. They say, well, how much money could we buy him for?
Everybody has a price, don't they?
Well, when I was a young man growing up in the Henry Horner projects, there was a guy named Red who was a pimp on the west side.
Yes.
And I didn't like him because of the way I saw him mistreating women.
Yes.
And he said, you don't like me, do you? I said, no, I do not. See, you had them women out there in that snow and that freezing cold. I got sisters, too.
Yeah.
He said, when I was young, and he was much older, he said, well, you know, your mama do the same thing I had him doing because everybody got a price. Nobody ain't never offered her a price. I never have forgotten that. Everybody has a price.
That's true. You know what? I'm pretty sure you know what these shows are being monitored. And these acts that you're saying that are going on, what would you say to people in the FBI, the CIA, and government officials that are monitoring this program about these actions that they're perpetrating presently? Not just in the United States, but over the world. Because I'm pretty sure they're watching. Can you talk to them? Give them some food for thought. You just expected me to say that, I know.
Well, you know, there's a book out called The Protocol of the Learned Elders of Zion.
Yes, sir.
I recommend everybody to read that. That's not, I didn't say the learned elders of the Jews.
Okay.
I said of Zion. Zionism and Judaism are two different things. And you should ought to read that book because in that book it says the protocols. Number one, first protocol is right is an abstract. It doesn't